So in our last lesson, we talked about the use of aggregate function and joins. So we talked about inner, outer, and outer join. We just talked about left and right join, and then we talked about full join. So in this lesson, we are going to continue from where we stopped. We're going to talk about self join, and then we're going to talk about union and union all, and use of having in place of a where clause. So let's get started. So let's take self join first. So I'm going to be using W3 Schools as my reference material for this particular class. So self join is a join that allows you to join a table to itself. So but then on a particular criteria. So we use self join when we want to get like a column from a particular record from a table. So for example, now if I want to join a table, let's say at the moment now I have my books table, I have my authors table, and the likes. So let's say that though we don't have that in this instance, let's say we have a record in my author table that are null values, but we don't actually have that. Let's try to insert that and see what we have, but I'm sure it's not going to allow the response because we already set a parameter, we already set a constraint there that we don't want null values from what we have here. Where is it again? So we already set this as a primary key, so we can't have a null value there. And let's say the other one. Okay, I think we can have something for this book table. So let's see. So I'm only going to put this. I'm only going to put the So now I have empty records for this. I have an empty I have an empty year of production pages. So I have about 2 here and the last one here. So if I want to join this table to itself now, I would say something about select everything from the table name, books, then I want an inner join. An inner join means that it's going to return values from each table. Let's say inner join this table, right? Then on what? So what do I use here?
The author ID.
The author ID. So if I say the author ID now, and I say something like let's just create this for this. Let's say this is book 1 and this is book 2, so that we can distinguish. So book 1 dot the author ID, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then book 2 dot author ID, isn't it? So if we run this now, what do we get? We have everything from the book.
Yes, ma'am.
So what if we wanted to just return a
but
particular
in duplicate?
Yes, because we are returning both tables, right? So
yes, ma'am.
if we now if you want to return just one table, we could say just one table. We could say b1 dot title, and then it will return just this title here. But then they are still in duplicate, right? So
yes, ma'am.
What if we say book 1 and then let's say book 2 like this? Sorry, book 2. And I get rid of this and I run this, I still get the same result. So what if I wanted to return only the value that were not null? I would say where pages is not null, where b1 dot pages is not null. So you have 18 records there.
Yes, ma'am.
So if I wanted to return the unique values, I would say these things. So these are just the 3 books without being duplicated. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Makes sense. So we're joining book 1. We're joining book to book table. We're joining book to book table, and we are returning the books that are not null values. And of course, it will return all of those records for me. If I run this now, if I say books that are not null. If I just replace this with this and I return everything, then it will return this. So where the books are not, where the pages are not null, so this is what I get. I'm still getting it's not null. Oh, so now it's returning the one for B. Okay, if I say where the pages, where B1 pages is not null and B2 pages. So these are the records that are not null. So I'm saying where B1 and B2 pages is not null. So these are the records that are not null, but then they are in duplicate. So if I wanted to return the unique values, I would say these things. Title, because the pages could be duplicates. So let's say B1 or B2, whichever. So I'm just going to run this now, and this is what I get. Okay, so that's that about that. So sometimes what I've done here is I've written a condition, so this has to be satisfied. So what SQL does, the order of operation is that it gets this from state, it executes this from statement first. That means from book 1 and book 2. Then the where clause is executed next. Where the B1 and B2 is not null, it's executed first. Then it now selects, then it filters the titles where the titles are not duplicated. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright, so now that being said, let's check or let's work with having. So having is another keyword in SQL that we use for formatting or for writing a condition statements where the clause where cannot be used. For example, now if I want to change, let's see, let me think of one case scenario. Okay, sorry, union. We've not talked about union, so let's talk about union first. So we have union and then we have union all. So union is used to combine, it's like a match statement in Excel. So union is used to combine two or more select statements together. Okay, so we use union when you want to match data together. So the difference between union and union all is that union is going to filter the duplicates, while union all will not filter the duplicates. Union all will return all records including duplicated value. So union does not take, only returns distinct values, while union all allows duplicates value or duplicates the value where they appear. So the case study for that would be I'm trying to join book 1 to book 2. Okay, so I'm saying something like select everything from book 1 or books, whichever one, and I'm saying union. I'm saying union, then select everything from books again. So this is my book 1 and this is my book 2. So if I run this now, union will only display the unique values because each of this table has the same value. So it's only going to display them, it's only going to display the unique values. But if I change this to be union all, I'm going to have 12 records being displayed. So let's see that. If I change this to be union all and I run this, you can see I'm going to have 12 records because union all is going to just display the result as it is. It's not going to filter it. So ensure that the one of the key take home for union and union all is that you merge tables or records where they have the same column name. Okay, so for example now, let's say you're working with a school database, you want to merge class A to class B to class C, you know that they will have the same structure of data, so you can match those kind of records together. But in that same school setting, it's not possible for you to match the parent table to the student table. That can be conflicting, there can be conflicting information there, so you can't match those kinds of tables together. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Are we still together? So
Yes.
so that's that about union and union all. So let's take a look at having. So just like I said before, having is a keyword that is used where the where clause cannot be used. So for example now, if I wanted to use an aggregate function with my condition, I can't use that with a where clause. I'd have to use that with having instead. Now this is what I mean. You know, the other day when we did where clause, we were able to aggregate. When we did group by, we were able to use aggregate function with our group by. Do you remember?
Yes, ma'am.
So let me just take us back there if I still have it here. So we're able to we grouped by and then we used an aggregate function with it. But for where, we can't use where clause with an aggregate function. We can only use having with it. So this is what I mean. So if I say let's say select from author, let's read this. So this is what I have. So and let's see, select okay, there are no duplicates here. Let me use the other one. Let me use this one, books. So we have duplicates of those author IDs here. So this is going to be the best to use for this case scenario. So now I have titles, I have year production, I have pages, I have author ID. So let's say I want to get the author, the number of books that each author has written. Let's say I have like 1,000 rows here or records here. I could say something like select, and then what do I want to do? I want to count the number of titles. I could count the titles, I could count the number of times that the author ID was mentioned. So let's say author ID from books. want to group by the author ID because that's the identifier there. So I'm going to group by the author ID. So if I do this now, if I run this, you can see I'm having the number of
Author ID.
author ID. So what if I wanted to get the author ID also? If I print out the author ID like this, and I run this, so 1 is appearing twice, 2 is appearing twice, 3 is appearing one time, 4 is appearing once. So if I wanted to add a condition statement to this now, let's say I only want to return the author that has written more than one book, I can't use where clause with that. I can only use having. So I'm going to say something like having the count of my author ID, greater than 1. Okay, if I run this now, it's going to return records of author IDs or author that has written more than one book. But I can't write this with, if I say where, you can see it's already giving me this error right here, invalid syntax near the keyword where. Can you see that? So
Yes, ma'am.
where is not appropriate for this case scenario, but having does the trick. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So can we proceed? So you can also add other aggregate functions with it. You can use sum, you can use even you can order by, if you have like quite a number of values that you want to that you have on your screen. You want to sort it by their descending order or ascending order. You can also do that. So this is just to like show you the possibilities of things you can achieve with this. Okay, so are we good to go?
Yes, ma'am.
So now we're going to take a look at lastly, now you've seen me join tables B1, B2 like this, and you didn't ask me why I wrote B1, B2, and why it's like that. So what I've done here is that
It's because you explained it, and you said that so that we won't be confused.
okay,
The first, the B1 is for the first book, then the B2 is for the second book.
but then what is this B1 serving as here? What's this B1, B2 serving as here?
I think it's as just to differentiate which books you are using.
Okay, it does differentiate, but in essence, it's serving as an alias. So we don't want to confuse ourselves with which of the B or which of the books we are referring to. So we write an alias beside it, and there are like a couple of ways that we could write an alias. Let me show you. I'm just going to copy this and paste it right here. Then I'm going to say alias. So when I run this and I say from books or this, and I say as B1, as B2, it does the same trick as the normal way. I could have just written like this. So what this means, what this means Now, this statement and this statement means the same thing. I'm saying that I want these books to be referenced as B1, and I want this book to be referenced as B2. So I could write it like this without explicitly typing out the as statement. SQL still interprets it as B1, books as B2. So when I want to write out my where clause, or I want to join multiple tables, in place of having to use these books, I would use the alias name. For example, when I wanted to join these two tables, I know we didn't do that when we joined this table. I'm just going to copy this and paste it right here. So I can say select everything from author, and I say A, and then select everything from books, and I say B. It doesn't have to be in caps, it can be in lowercase. And in place of joining this now, this time around I'm having this red annoying symbol right here. So I'm just going to say, this is B. So I'm just going to say B like this. And when I run it, I still get the same result. So in place of having to call books every time, I could just use the B word as an alias. In place of having to write author every time, I could use the A as the alias. So this is going to save me the stress of having to explicitly type author and books every time I want to make reference. So if I want to make reference to maybe a particular column in each of this, I would say A dot, and then I can pick the column I want to reference. It's not showing me the column right now. Okay, but then I know that in the A table I have author name. So if I say author name, and I have the email, I'm just going to say a.email. And then in the B book, in the B, I have what else? Year of production. I'm just going to say B dot YOP, then B dot pages. So this should look good. So if I run this now, I have the author name, I have the email, I have the year of production, I have the pages. So the author name is coming from author table, email is coming from the email from the author table, the year of production is coming from
the books table,
and the pages is also coming from the books table. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So this allows you to write simple codes, readable codes that are not prone to errors. So, do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am, I do, ma'am.
Okay. So, in our next lesson, we're going to talk about wildcards, the use of exists, any, all, and then the use of case statements, and we're just going to take it as we go, easy peasy, one step at a time.
Okay, ma'am.
Any question?
No, ma'am.
Okay.